The first crack in our seemingly perfect world was so subtle that I almost convinced myself it wasn't real. Like a fine hairline fracture in a cherished porcelain vase, nearly invisible but undeniably there. It started with a phone. Amelia's phone, face down on the kitchen counter, its screen buzzing with an insistent vibration. Normally, she would have grabbed it immediately, a flick of her wrist, a quick glance before flashing me the effortless smile. But this time, she hesitated. Her fingers twitched, reaching for it, then pulled back as if burned. A strange flicker passed through her eyes. Something unreadable. Something guilty. I dismissed it. We all have moments of distraction, don't we? But distractions don't come in patterns. And soon, the patterns emerged. Whispered phone calls taken in the other room. Late nights at the office stretching longer, later. The scent of unfamiliar sandalwood clinging to her skin like a secret. I told myself I was imagining things. Asterisk, this is Amelia. My Amelia. The woman who looked me in the eyes 5 years ago, beneath a canopy of fairy lights, and vowed to be mine forever. Asterisk. She wouldn't. She couldn't. Denial became my shield. A fragile, paper-thin thing, barely strong enough to hold back the creeping tendrils of doubt that coiled around my chest, squeezing tighter each day. And then, one rainy Tuesday evening, my world shattered. I left work early, a migraine pounding at my skull, forcing me to abandon an important meeting. As I pulled into the driveway, I pictured Amelia inside, fussing over me, pressing a cool cloth to my forehead, her touch as soothing as it had always been. Instead, I stepped into a nightmare. The moment I opened the door, I felt it, the shift in the air, the lingering scent of something foreign, sandalwood, heavier than ever, the unmistakable rustling of movement, the sharp inhale of someone caught off guard. And then I saw them, a man, asterisk Daniel, asterisk, sitting on my sofa, his fingers tangled in Amelia's hair, his touch far too familiar, far too intimate. The sight of them together, their bodies angled in a way that told me everything before a single word was spoken, hit me like a physical blow. My breath hitched. The world tilted. Asterisk, no. No, this isn't real. This isn't happening. Asterisk. But it was Daniel, a name I knew all too well, a colleague from Amelia's office, a man I had met at company picnics, shaking his hand, making small talk, welcoming him into my home like a fool. And now, he sat here, his hands where only mine should have been. Amelia turned the sound of my arrival, her face draining of all color, her lips parted, but no words came. In that moment, she looked like a deer caught in the headlights, trapped, frozen, guilty. Something inside me snapped. I lunged at Daniel, fists clenched, my vision a haze of red. I wanted to hurt him. I wanted to wipe that smug look off his face, to make him pay for this betrayal. But then, a sound, a pathetic, whimpering sound escaping from his lips. He scrambled backward, his body recoiling in sheer terror. And then I looked at her, Amelia, and what I saw there stopped me cold. Not remorse, not love, not even fear, just emptiness. A stranger stared back at me through her familiar features. And that was when I knew. Whatever we had, whatever we once were, was already gone. The rage in my chest hardened into something colder, sharper. I took a step back. My voice, when I finally spoke, was eerily calm. Get out. Daniel, still fumbling with his clothes, shot a desperate glance at Amelia, but she said nothing. Her silence was the loudest confession of all. I said, get out. This time, he didn't hesitate. He bolted, leaving behind nothing but the bitter stench of betrayal. And then it was just us. The house, our house, suddenly felt too big, too empty, like the walls themselves were recoiling from the weight of what had just happened. I turned to Amelia. Explain. The word came out rough, raw. A demand, a plea. She broke. Tears spilled down her cheeks as she stumbled through a mess of excuses. Asterisk, it was a mistake. She didn't mean for it to happen. She had felt neglected, lonely. She needed something more. Asterisk, the same tired, pathetic script. I stood there listening, but I wasn't really hearing her anymore. Because the woman in front of me wasn't the one I had loved. That woman, the one who had danced with me in the rain, who whispered promises in the dark, was gone. In her place stood a stranger wrapped in lies. The days that followed were a blur of paperwork, lawyers, and empty rooms. I moved out, leaving behind echoes of a life I no longer recognized. I buried myself in work, trying, failing, to outrun the pain. But I couldn't stop thinking about them, about him, about what they had stolen from me. I didn't just want to walk away. I wanted them to feel what I felt. I wanted them to taste the same gut-wrenching devastation they had served me. And then, fate handed me the perfect opportunity. Amelia's company was hosting its annual gala, a grand, elegant affair, filled with laughter, champagne, and the illusion of success. I wasn't invited, of course, but I didn't need to be. A sympathetic colleague extended a +1, and suddenly I had a ticket to their perfect little world. The night was everything I expected. A glittering ballroom, a sea of polished smiles, the dull hum of shallow conversation. And then, there they were, Amelia and Daniel, holding hands, laughing, pretending. They looked happy. That wouldn't last. As the CEO took the stage, beginning his speech, I slipped away. A brief exchange with the AV technician, a quiet transaction, and then, just as the CEO wrapped up his monotonous speech, the screen behind him flickered. The room went silent. At first, the guests expected to see the company logo, a slideshow of achievements, something corporate and forgettable, but instead, images, captured in the act. In my home, on my furniture, in my life, gasps rippled through the crowd. Murmurs turned into shocked whispers. Amelia's face drained of all color. Daniel, beside her, looked like he had seen a ghost. The final image lingered, a close-up of their intertwined hands. Beneath it, a single caption, her escape. And just like that, the world they had built on stolen moments and lies came crashing down. Colleagues turned away. Friends whispered. Amelia's boss looked furious. Their perfect little fantasy? Over. I didn't wait to see them run. I already knew they would. Instead, I stepped out into the night, inhaling deeply. The pain wasn't gone. It never would be. But for the first time since that rainy Tuesday, I felt something close to peace. The vase was shattered, but the pieces? They were still mine. And one day, I would build something new, something stronger, something entirely my own.